But for a moment, let's change the event and go to the final of the pursuit, with Alain Bondue of France defending his title against the man he beat last year, Hans-Henrik Orsted of Denmark.
The battle for the gold medal in the professional pursuit. Alain Bondue starting on the left in front of the home grandstand, and on the right, Hans-Henrik Orsted of Denmark. This a repeat of the final of 12 months ago, when Orsted had to settle for silver medal. Bondue took the gold. Here's Bondue, the defending champion, who destroyed Tony Doyle in the semi-finals. As they complete the first lap, Bondue ahead, 27.62 seconds, and he leads. 15 laps of the track at Leicester, 5,000 metres for the professionals to ride. And it has to be said that in the other occasions, the 3 times when Bondue's been on the track, he has looked invincible.
Very, very smooth indeed, this French pursuiter. It's going to take a very, very strong man indeed to beat him. And the gap between these two last year after the 5,000-metre final was 1.15 seconds. But Orsted has never been very quick in the first kilometre, so we expect him to be down in the first 3 laps.
Orsted, the holder of 8 world records, including the world record over 5,000 metres, which he did in Mexico at altitude, but that was a timed world record. It wasn't in a World Championship event. And Bondue ahead now by 1.8 seconds, so he's increasing his lead with every lap.
And that's the slowest first kilometre that Alain Bondue has done through this pursuit series. But of course, here, it doesn't matter about the time. You've got to ride your man and beat him. So that's exactly what he is doing.
Indeed, the way Bondue has tackled this championship has to be described as perfection. He's done everything right and produced the fast times exactly when he needed them. Almost 2 seconds ahead of Orsted here. Took the bronze medal as an amateur in the Olympic Games in 1980, did Orsted, and the silver medal as a pro last year. And he might well have to settle for silver here again. 1.76 seconds down, so he was marginally quicker than Bondue on that lap, just cutting the deficit by a fraction.
Bondue there coming up to complete 6 laps. We'll just get an indication of whether he's picked up any pace at all. 2:27.20, so they're still on not a particular quick time at all. So obviously this a contest of man against man, no time involved here, no records will go in this one. He's just content to beat the Dane if he can.
So as in the British National Championships a month ago, Tony Doyle will leave the World Championships here with the track record under his belt, but nothing else. He lost the national title to Sean Yates, although he was the faster man prior to that final ride. He's been the faster man in this World Championship and yet doesn't get a medal. Number 19, Alain Bondue, took the professional title last year when Doyle was injured and couldn't defend. And in fairness to Tony Doyle, he wouldn't make the point himself, but he's had injuries this season too, and up to 3 and 4 weeks ago, felt that he wasn't 100%, and I wonder if he came to this World Championship just a little below his best. So this is Orsted of Denmark. And next time round in front of the grandstand, Bondue will see the lap marker say 6 laps to go, 2 kilometres. He's led from the start, the defending world champion, 3 minutes 39.95, just under 2 seconds ahead, and the target time now.
That's just inside a 6:07, so as I said earlier, this is just a match pursuit, man against man, to see who can come out and win this gold medal, and the time really of no importance at all. But the smoothness of Bondue continues, the hallmark of a real world-class pursuiter. He's never ever looked as though he was going to move those shoulders under any pressure. He just sits there so still. It's hard to believe that he's getting all this speed out, but Orsted is closing now. So the speed could go up and the time could improve.
Orsted will have seen the big electronic clock. He'll know how far down he was. Next time round he'll see that 4 laps remain and he's cutting back the deficit. But you can't underestimate Orsted of Denmark, not a man who holds 8 world records and who's the fastest man in this event. And he's closed it now, 0.59 of a second, and there's certainly enough distance left here for Orsted to get on terms and perhaps take the gold medal. Well, at last we've got a race. It didn't look like it would be at the start of this final. and Bondue looks as though he's in pain. The gap between the two remaining fairly constant there, just 0.6 of a second, 0.6 of a second. 2.5 laps left to race.
It was 4:52 at the 4,000 metre mark, and I said at the time it wasn't, the time didn't matter, but of course Orsted seemed to have been riding a cagey race. The Frenchman was just watching him, and for the first time in this series, he seems to have had to drop his head, Bondue, and now Orsted really gritting his teeth. Are we going to get a cliffhanger and a real surprise to the finish of this?
A lap and a half remain. Orsted has closed the gap now to just half a second on Bondue, the defending champion. Can he reverse the positions from the World Championship of a year ago when Bondue took the gold? Bondue looks to be in trouble. And it's only just over 1/10 of a second, and they're on the last lap, and I think Orsted can do it. He'll have seen the electronic scoreboard. He's got the incentive of knowing that he's going marginally faster at this stage. But has Bondue saved something for the last lap? Less than half a lap remains, and look at the agony on the face of the Frenchman. He's nothing left to give. He's within sight of the line. It's going to be absolutely close. Oh, Bondue's taken it. Bondue's taken it. He's defended the world crown by just over 4/10 of a second, and he had to dig deep in the reserves of strength and energy on that last lap.